I will stand upon my watch and wait to see what it will say. I will stand upon my watch and wait to see what it will say. And I told us last week, where you stand determines what you see. Where you stand determines what you see. And that's why you have to be conscious of where you are standing. Be conscious of where you stay. Be conscious of where you hang around. Be conscious of where you go. Because where you go will determine what you see. I will stand upon my watch and set myself upon the tower. And I told you something about the tower. Tower is also usually a place that is most times higher than the regular height around. I will stand upon my watch and set myself upon the tower and watch to see what it will say. And I did say last week, what you see in the place of prayer is very important. And what to see, what it will say. Now, what God does is that he speaks to us. And when words come, it must get to a point where you don't only hear, you begin to see things even as you hear. You begin to see things even as you hear. So you must get to that point where God speaks to you and then you begin to see things, images, pictures. That's what God does. It happens in the place of meditation. And one of the things that happens is that God creates a kind of imaginations in your spirit. And you begin to see things like my pastor did say, one of the most powerful tools that God has given humankind is the ability to imagine things. Imagination is free. You don't pay for it, even though you can pay indirectly for it. And one of the things that God has given you capacity to imagine anything. Imagine anything. And then I remember he was saying, while he was preaching, he said, he can hit with the United States of America's president. He can hit with it while he's here, through imagination. And you can imagine anything. It's the capacity that God has given to you, you and I. The challenge is sometimes we don't, and you see, this is what happens. Sometimes you affect your mind to a particular state that why the mind, you know why you have troubles in your spirit, in your mind, is because there is a fight in the mind that you have placed your mind at a particular limit. So the mind is saying, free me, leave me alone, let me explore, let me think bigger than what, and then because you are saying, go beyond this, no, you can't go beyond this. The mind is saying, I want to see beyond Abeokuta, and you are saying, no, all you can see is Abeokuta. And so there's a trouble in your mind, there's a fight in your spirit, and that's what happens here. So it is given unto you to imagine anything. As I am here, I can fly to the United States of America now and come back. I hope you know it's possible. While you sit down, and that's why sometimes some people are in church. While in church, they can be having lunch. While in church, you can eat lunch because their mind can travel. That's why it's important, because when you're in church, you put your mind together in one place. Because the mind has the capacity to travel to anywhere. So what happens is, what to see, what I will say unto me when I shall, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. So this is very important. Pay attention to where you go. Pay attention to what you see. Pay attention to the environment you go. It is critical. You can't argue it. You can't do anything against it. This is the foundation for receiving vision for life. One of the things I want us to begin to think about and imagine is, what will my life look like in the next 1 year? What will my life look like in the next 5 years? What will my life look like in the next 10 years? Where you are today is a function or a result of what your mind saw 5 years ago. That's the reality. You may not be conscious of it. It is what you saw a few years ago that you are living now. And you begin to, the way to change the trajectory of your life is to begin to see things beyond what you have been seeing before. You need to change your perspective about life, belief system about life, which happens through vision. I will stand. I want to make emphasis on this because it is critical and important to our progress in life. I will stand on my watch, I set myself upon the tower and want to see what it will say. It is the basis and foundation for anybody's achievement and progress in life. If you see anybody who has achieved anything substantial, it happened in the place of sin, in the place of hearing. People have seen things, and that's why they are producing what they are producing today, which is critical and very important. I was somewhere over the weekend and then saw something that was appealing to the eyes. To myself, this is part of what I have tried to imagine. Now it becomes a reality to me. I will stand on my watch and set myself on the tower and watch to see what it will say. Two things happen. We heard things that didn't come to us audibly, no audible voice, but we are hearing voices. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. We are hearing voices. This is your future. This is your future. This is your future. And then we saw things. What we saw, me to pick my phone to do a recording, is something that is being recorded. So I'm saying that to let you know, pay attention to where you go. Very important, very critical. Verse 2. Some of us, you have to intentionally, deliberately, and consciously tell yourself to get out the way God told Abraham. Get out of your family, of your kindred, to a place. I will do what? I will show you what to see, what it will say. What to see, what it will say. God knew, for me to change your life, I must pull you out of the environment that you are used to. Some of us are too used to our environment. I'm not saying detach yourself from your family, but I can tell you, if hanging around my family, I'm not talking about your husband and children now, I'm talking about extended family. If hanging around my extended family will put a peg and limit of my life, I'm off. I'm off. I can't imagine myself saying the same thing over and over again. And of course, someone says, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you expect a different result, it's a definition of insanity. There is something amazing about what you see consistently over a period of time. Unconsciously, it's registered in your spirit. Not just even your subconscious mind. It registered in your spirit, and your spirit absorbs it, and then you say to yourself, this is the reality of my life. And it's because you have been saying that the moment you see something a little bit different from what your mind has seen to be the norm, then there is a fight, there is a struggle. And that's when you begin to say, oh, they must have stolen to do this. They must have, because your mind could not imagine that it is possible to achieve certain things in life without stealing, without robbing. Pay attention to where you go, what you see, and the environment that you keep yourself. Simple admonition this morning. Sometimes you may need to get out of your environment. Just get out. Walk out of your neighborhood. If you don't have money for transport, just trek. Trek to the place that will make your mind to see things that you have been seeing on a regular basis. We hosted our guests, I think about 3 weeks ago, and I said, let's go. I don't want to be the only one that will be receiving the guest, so let's go together. Let's go together to the place and receive him together. So we went together to the room. The essence of that, see what I see. So there are certain things I can describe to you that you will not be able to understand it until you see it yourself. I think 2-3 years ago, thereabout, I can't remember precisely now, I had the privilege to go to Dubai for a conference, and then I got there. I was saying to my wife, you need to be here. I was describing. I discovered the more I described, the more unreal it became. There was no way I could describe it. So I said, you know what? You have to see it yourself. It is in the seeing it yourself that you can understand what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? You have to see it yourself. So work out. Just tell yourself, I've seen all this, Work out. So I said, I remember we were joking among ourselves. I said, okay, so there are facilities. You don't go tell where in the middle of the night, either you are chasing rat or rat is chasing you. No. You have to, know that there are certain places that if you want to hear God, it will come expressly to you. The network will be so accurate and sharp and clear in certain environments. Not you sleep on a bed, you wake up in the morning, either your neck is paining you or your hand is paining you. You go to a place where, if I leave you on this, it's enough. It's enough. What you see is so powerful, it impacts on your life and your journey in life. When we talk about significance, you can't experience true significance except through this foundation, by what you see and what you hear, which is determined by the environment that you have surrounded yourself with. You have to be conscious of this. You will need to identify certain places where you know it is not my type that should be here. That is the place you should desire to be. If all the places you go are the places designed for your type, you will never see better and bigger vision in life. You need to force yourself to places that you know this place is not for my type. I had the privilege to be in a place in the course of the week. Maybe not, but I think it will be categorized among one of the most expensive hotels, if not in Nigeria, but in the world. I mean, in Lagos, rather. Because I had the privilege, through relationships, and I tried to lodge. I was lodged in the place. And I said to myself, the people who live this kind of life, because you see people trooping there, that's where they stay. There are certain people who stay there perpetually, almost every time. You had the privilege of walking into the restaurant in the morning, because by the fact of the fact that you stay there to have your breakfast in the restaurant, there's something it does to your mind. You see people from all over the world, all over. I'm not talking about people who just come from one village. I'm talking about people from all over the world coming to the same restaurant. Eating in the midst of those people does something. That's where vision is birthed. I said to myself, there are certain things in life I cannot do below certain standard. It is not money that produces these results. It is sight that makes it happen. What you see is what determines the decisions you make. Not your condition, it's your decision. And your decision is influenced by the things you see consistently over a period of time. So I said to myself, I just walk in here. Sit down by the poolside in the evening, cool of the evening. You know that's the experience of Genesis chapter 1. In the cool of the evening. Some of us need to go back to that garden. You need to go back to that in the cool of the evening. And somebody just playing strings, just hearing cool music. Your brain needs to reset. You know why I speak in this way is because the assignment that I believe I have is not to produce me, but to produce more of me for as many people that can achieve the same result. As a matter of fact, it is not a success. It is not an achievement if I have to be the only one that is making progress and achieving things, and then other people For me, main mandate for now is not just to raise followers, but to be able to produce other leaders. People will be able to do the things that I do. People will achieve the things that I achieve. People will be able to understand the things that and the only way that can happen is for us to engage ourselves in the reality of the Word of God. I don't want to be a leader who will keep things away, hide things away from people because I don't want them to be like me. No. And that's one of the things I'm using to teach on all of this. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. Write the vision, make it plain. Write the vision, make it plain. Write the vision. When God is revealing things to you at different levels, vision comes in areas. Vision for family, vision for your business, vision for your career. Some of us who are career people, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And let me say this to you. If you are a career person here, you are not into business, your mind is built on building your career. In the last 2 years, if you have not made any move to add to your achievements in terms of things that you have learned, you are not going to get there. I can tell you that. One thing that you must learn to do is that there is no year that must pass that you must not take a course to increase your capacity and knowledge as far as your career is concerned. So if you say you are an educationist, for example, a year passes and you have not undergone any course to enhance your capacity as far as teaching is concerned, then you are not. No matter what you do, you must make it a rule that there is no year that will pass I will not add to my knowledge. And it comes in diverse ways. Write the vision. So the place where you get vision, I've told you, and when you get there, what do? Go to places. Now, it's easy now. You probably may not have your notebook and your pen to get up with you, but at least there is a tool you must always have, which is what? That's your phone. That's your phone. So when I got to that environment, I engaged my phone. What did I do? Took pictures and did video. I've captured that. What I do with that, I go back when I'm alone in a place, I go back to watch the video. What that does, it registers something in my subconscious mind. There is no way tomorrow I want to develop a project that is similar to that I must do anything below what I have seen. Always learn to document what you see. Always learn. Our mind is too small to be able to absorb everything at every time. Always learn to document what you see. Always learn to document what you see. Write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision, make it plain. Don't complicate things for yourself. Write the vision, make it plain. The first thing is that, do you even have a vision at all? Do you have a plan for the next 5 years of your life? The question you ask, if you are 30 today, where do you see yourself at 35? If you are 35, where do I see myself at 40? If I am 40, where do I see myself at 45? If I am 45, where do I see myself at 50? And on and on and on like that. Have you noticed or pay attention to this? Some of the fathers of faith that we make reference to today enter into the peak of the fulfillment of God's plan for their lives. Most of them in their 30s. Check it. Most of them. That's why they say a fool at 40 is a fool forever. If at 40 you have no clue of what your life will look like in the future, you probably have lost it. There are certain things that you must take concrete achievement on in certain ages of your life. At 20s, some things must happen. For example, you must enter into the higher institution. That's at least at 20s. Somehow it's earlier now. By 16, federal government is saying it has to be 18. But you understand now that at 16, guys are already entering institution. So in other words, at 20, some of these kids are already signing out. For some of us, a little bit late. Maybe for some of us too. Because maybe I didn't do bad. I didn't do bad, not too bad. I think at 20, I was already almost, no, not at 20, I was already more than 20. I was already more than 20. Of course, one of the things I realized is this. I had to pay attention to my movement also. So I tell you, the work that I do now, I remember at 27 or 27, 28, I think so, I already entered into it. I already plugged in. See, you wait for the perfect time to plug in into the fulfillment of God's plan for your life. And if you wait for the perfect time, you will wait forever. Forever you will wait. Because you will never get the perfect atmosphere. You will never get an atmosphere that will give you the money that you are looking for. You will never get the atmosphere that will give you the resources you are looking for. You will never get the atmosphere that will give you the people you are looking for. If you don't plug in at as early as possible. For some of you, it may be late, but it's not too late to plug in. This, for me, is critical. If you don't begin certain things at certain age gap of your life, it becomes harder and tougher by the time you're moving in. You are 40 and you are thinking you are too young. Too young to move. You wait forever. Or you think he had all the things to when he began. You think everything was together. You think everything you see today is what he was. You will wait for life. Time is very important in the fulfillment of God's vision for your life. Once you see it, move into it straight. Age is very important. I got my first car before I was 30. Why? I plugged in. I knew from day one. I got into an organization and I saw this is what I want to do for my life. The moment I got in there, I knew exactly where I was going. This is me. This is my life. This is my future. I enter. I already knew this is my life. And so when I moved out, I suffered. I can tell you I suffered. But I moved. I jumped out to start. Age was on my side. I fell, rose up. Age was on my side. On my side. And it was helpful to me. So I got my first car before I was 30. And I began to learn how to drive. After I got it. That's what age does. Right? Immediately you sense this is what God is saying to me. Don't think you know it all. Don't think you have it stored here. This place has a limit of what it can store. Write it down. You must have a journal. You must have a book that is called your vision book. You must have a book. I'm saying it. You must have a book that is called your vision book. And in that book, that's where you put down all the things that God is showing you part time. Showing you for ministry. Anything about ministry, I've got a separate book for that. Something else about business, I've got a separate book for that. For family, you must have a journal where you write things that God reveals to you part time. It's so amazing that somebody says, I'm going on a retreat. What are you going on a retreat to do? To just drink Coke? I'm going on a retreat to receive vision. And I must have with me things to write down what God is showing me. Everything God shows, everything God says, I must capture it. Because if you don't capture it at that moment, you may not have the opportunity to receive and absorb it again. Write down the vision. Make it plain. Don't think you will have it captured at all times. Write down the vision. Have a book, not a paper. I'm saying it, not a paper. If you truly think there is somewhere God is leading you to in life, you must have a book where you capture all the things that God is revealing to you. And you know where the revelation starts from? I will stand upon my word. That's the foundation. I want to see what it will say, and then I will stand. So when you get to the place where God wants to speak to you, and God is speaking to you, capture every moment. Every moment. What we do is going to look like. You know, I get excited. You know why I'm excited? I have seen the future. I have captured it. Somebody sent me a document yesterday or so, and I said, this is the future. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. We are dealing with certain parameters as far as the church is concerned. That's the area where I'm talking about capturing every opportunity that God is giving you to reveal to you your future. And pay attention to it. I told you about age. It's very important. Don't think you are getting younger. Don't think you are too old. Certain things must be done as early as possible. Pursue your vision for life as early as possible. That's something that you have to understand, which I must quickly say as I round up. That don't think you need all the clarity. Don't think you need everything must be made clear. Everything has to be clear. I must get everything settled and sorted out. And then once I settle everything, I will then move. Ask Bishop. He will tell you. He probably didn't see Covenant University when this whole thing started. He was in the vision, fulfilling the vision. One thing that you have to understand, one vision will produce the next vision. In the process of you executing the one that God reveals to you, and let me tell you, God won't reveal to you everything about your life. Don't pay. You have to understand, God won't show you everything about your life in just one vision. He won't show you. You need to know that. It is when you are fulfilling one. What I am doing now, I did not see when we started. But as I move, then eyes open the more. I saw clearer, I saw better. As I move, He reveals more. As I move, He reveals more. If God has 30 chapters for you, what He will reveal to you first is just chapter 1 of your life. And until you enter into that chapter 1, He won't open chapter 2 to you. Some of us do is that we are waiting for God to reveal chapter 30. And God says, I won't show you even chapter 10 until you begin chapter 1. And it is in chapter 1 that you will discover chapter 2. That's why they say revelation is progressive. Achievement is also progressive. That's the way God does His things. I've told you this morning, and let me say it again. Whatever you need to begin, let it begin now. Don't think you need all the resources. Let it start now. Age is of essence when it comes to birthing and fulfilling vision. Age is of essence. Bishop Francis Walloke is 67, thereabout. And I feel, man, these people have been so terrible. So terrible because while he was in Unilag, they're already pulling stuff. At age 30, they're already breaking every ground. Someone was talking about one of the past presidents of Nigeria. I can't remember the name now. Of course, in the 70s, thereabout. That it became, and maybe you will know, became the president of Nigeria at age 35. Huh? Mohammed at 35. Some of you, you're already in your 30s. You don't even know where you are going next. At 35, someone had the mind to dare be the president of Nigeria. Some of you, you don't even have what it takes to be the president of the association of your community. You don't even have it. Your mind can't absorb it yet. If they call you, Ma, we want to make you the general secretary of the landlord association, and the next thing you are thinking, do I tell you I have a house here? I'm just a tenant. And somebody says, just be our secretary. We know you are a tenant. Just be our secretary. Your mind can't absorb it. And at 35, they're already daring, I want to be the number one person of not just a street, not a state, a whole nation. That's what vision does. See beyond your geographical environment. I do business, and my mind had gone beyond just running business in Nigeria. So I'm having conversations. How can I have you here? How can you have me there? That's the kind of conversation I'm having here. How can I be your representative here? I want to be a global representative. Do I have everything? No. First, it must be here. If my mind can absorb it, then, and then I began to put things together. Write the vision. One of the things that happens in the place of writing is that you begin to now, there are some of the things that some of you are doing, you can't even imagine yourself having any conversation with any international organization. You don't even see yourself there. I hope you know that if you get to the middle of all these things, you will now realize that they are already waiting for you. But because you have limited yourself, what it takes, you already have. But your mind can't think it. Me? China? To do what? Who am I? What do I have? Look at my house. Will they consider me? Will they have anything to do with me? You can't imagine if your mind can think it. One thing you can do is, first of all, make the move. I said you last week, and I'm going to say it again. Make the move. Make the move. Heaven will not fall. Make the move. Write it. Write the mail. Send the mail. Start the conversation. Start it. Anyhow. Start it. Make the move. I got an award last week, and it was on a platform. If I consider me, I wouldn't have been there. I said to myself, all of these guys didn't have two heads. I may not have what they have. I may not be as qualified as they have. If you consider that, then you will peg yourself and say, okay, I can't do this. I can't go close to this kind of a person. I don't have what it takes. But I tell you what, there is something you have. There is something, I just want to encourage someone this morning. There is something you have. There is something you have. There is something you have that you can use as a tool to also rise and climb to any ladder, any height you can think of. If I were in your shoe, I'm a secretary by excellence. First of all, I must get to that point. I'm not just a secretary. I am an executive secretary. I hope you know that there's somebody who is a secretary of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I hope you know. The same secretarial job that he does, the same job I do. All I need to do is to scale my mind. I can also get to that height where the same secretary job is the same job. I can be a secretary to the state government. And you know, at that level, it's not the same thing, no. There are secretaries, there are secretaries. I hope you know. See beyond here. See beyond the normal. That's what birthing great things is all about. That's what seeing beyond the normal is all about. I'm just encouraging you this season. See beyond what you have been seeing. What you have been seeing is good enough but it can be better. It can be better. I tell you. I used to think these guys are more qualified until when you get close. What took me there is not just my academic qualification. What took me there is vision. I was trying to say, they were having a conversation and I said, you know what I saw this year? I said, Lord, I want an award before the end of this year. I was having that conversation in my mind. In my mind, I was having it. I said, God, it's not possible to have an award before the end of this year. I was having that conversation in my mind last month, October. I was just having it. I saw it, and it happened. There's another mail I received that I'm still having to think, should I say yes? Should I say no? It's my choice. But it is not because I have money. It is because of vision. Vision drives everything that I do. That's why people say, they have money. It is not money. It is vision that is driving us. And when we are driven by vision, money will respond. I told you provision. You can never receive money beyond the capacity and the level of your vision. If all you see is to have a small shop to yourself, God will give you resources commensurate to the vision of having a shop, and everything in that shop will be just 100,000 naira, and that's what God will do for you. If you see having a kind of organization, an entity, or a bigger store that will control as much as 10 million naira, if you see it and you write it down, I tell you the resources will follow. Some of us think it is difficult. It is not as difficult as you think. I tell you. It is not as difficult as you think. Be driven by vision. See beyond here.
It is the truth that you know and act on that sets you free. Therefore, take a step today and put what you have learned to practice. Put the word of God to work and let the word work on your behalf. For more information, contact us via email at tfwcao2@gmail.com.